Hi, everybody. Jim Crawford here with Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate. I'm here with Ryan Richardson of Movement Mortgage. How are you, Ryan?
Good, man. How's it going? Just, surviving this quarantine. I got a little bit of a quarantine beard going on, but making the
You
most of it.
do. I see you've defied the medical suggestion, and you're just going beard out.
That's just a suggestion that it stays in your beard, but I'm staying inside, so I should be good. I got clean air in here
Absolutely.
as far as I
That's
know.
great. That's great. Yes. I've learned during this period that I'm not cut out to be a teacher. That's the one thing I've learned for sure.
I think a lot of parents have figured that out.
Yes. So thanks for joining me. I got a few questions, and we'll get to know you and Movement Mortgage a little bit better.
Cool. Sounds
So,
good.
how long have you been in the mortgage business?
So this is my fourth full year doing this. My degree's in finance. I worked for a hedge fund before this, a real estate investment trust. I was an accountant. I've done sales, and then my dad's been in the mortgage business for about 25 years. So I wanted to make my own schedule. So that was kind of the biggest thing for me, was freedom of schedule. So we teamed up together, me and my dad, and I got into this. And yeah, it's about 4 years now that I've been doing this.
I will say I've battled back and forth in my mind of who masters social media better, you or your dad, because he's got a
Uh,
strong social media game.
don't bring that up here. Yeah, you're gonna blow his head up. He's gonna think he's got a better social media game than me now.
You beat him on the memes, but he's got some other new content that's really good.
Yeah, he always does like the running stuff. Yeah, yeah.
So tell me about Movement Mortgage specifically.
Yeah, so that was one reason why I actually convinced my dad to come over to Movement. My dad's been with a lot of mortgage companies over the years, but Movement is pretty unique in the space. We're actually owned by three people total. So there's Casey and Toby, they're the two owners. And then the other 45% of our business is owned by a nonprofit, which is very unique. And the only reason that it only owns 45% is if it owned any more, it wouldn't be considered a nonprofit. That's how much they're legally allowed to own. So everything that we make past break even gets reinvested back into the communities that we serve in. We have a charter school in Charlotte. We're getting ready to open up a second one. We just donated another $22 million to open up a second charter school. We partnered with LeBron James to open up some charter schools. We do some mission work, and we're very, very involved in all the communities that we serve in. Our mission is to make the world a better place, which in the financial sector, especially in mortgages, just kind of unheard of to have a company with a moral compass like that. So Movement's pretty unique in the space. And then on the operations side, we actually kind of changed the way that the process is done. The mortgage industry is just a very old, stodgy industry that hasn't changed in a really long time. And Movement kind of looked at the process and they were like, this just doesn't make sense. Like, this could work better if we did it a different way. So we kind of changed things around, and we submit to an underwriter up front who's the actual decision maker. So our turn times, we close nationwide on average in 18 days, where the industry standard before that was anywhere from 30 to 90.
I can say from experience that you guys don't mess around, and it's
Yeah.
appreciated. You
Yeah.
mentioned LeBron James. I'm not really missing him that much, but I am missing the NBA tremendously right now.
I'm missing any sports right now. I saw a bunch of people are watching like marble racing now since there's nothing else to watch. So, yeah.
I've seen a bunch of the alternative sports that have popped up now, which is interesting for sure. So what are some common misconceptions about mortgages?
There's a lot of misconceptions about mortgages. Mortgages suck. They're boring. Nobody really wants one. I get it. They're confusing. There's a lot of moving parts to it. I always tell people a mortgage is like a financial colonoscopy. So it's kind of like a deep dive into your finances. It's income, assets, and liabilities. Those are kind of like the big three. But there's a lot of misconceptions and you see a lot of marketing and you see people saying things one way or the other. For the most part, all mortgage companies, we mostly have the same products, and we mostly abide by the same guidelines because the government, quasi-government agencies, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, kind of guide us on what we can and can't do. And every mortgage company has to abide by those same kind of rules. So a lot of misconceptions out there on that. First-time home buyer, kind of really more of a marketing term, doesn't really give you too much of an advantage. But there's a lot of misconceptions out there. So my biggest thing is if you're picking somebody to buy a house with and you're going to be doing financing, you want to get someone that you can ask questions to, bounce questions off of, someone that's going to be there, responsive, is going to answer your texts, answer your calls. kind of guide you through the process, because it sucks. It's boring, and there's a lot of moving pieces. It's very confusing. So you want someone on your side that's going to help you walk you through it.
Yeah, I know, again, from firsthand experience, I've had some buyers that have used your services, and others that have used some of those bigger names out there that we won't mention.
Yeah.
Um, the customer service portion of things is where the significant difference is that I see. And that's helpful to me as an agent because they're happier through the process and things get done when they're supposed to get done.
Exactly. Yeah. My big thing is just setting expectations and being available. I mean, I don't have hours. All my clients have my personal cell phone number. They can text me, call me at any time. Whereas some of those other companies, or if it's a bank, they work bank hours. So it's 9 to 5 and they don't work on the weekends. And, unfortunately in this business, the weekends is when most people are doing the most work or looking at houses and wanting to put an offer. So when I got into this, I kind of realized I don't have a weekend anymore. I guess maybe Tuesday, Wednesday is probably more my weekend now.
Sure, agreed. Same here. Can you think of a memorable experience with a past client?
All my client experiences are memorable.
Excellent answer.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, that's one reason why I like doing this. I like working in mortgages. I get to help people, buy a house. Like, it's part of the American dream. I mean, it's the biggest purchase you're ever going to make. And it's just, it's rewarding to see, when you guide someone through it, and even if it's a tough deal, and then we get to the settlement table, they sign the papers, and like, they can't stop smiling because, they finally bought a house. Especially with people that have kids, and, there's 4 of them, they're living in a 2-bedroom, they're paying rent, and they end up buying a house, and their mortgage is cheaper than their rent. Now everybody has their own bedroom, and, the kids are all pumped about picking out their own room, and they get to paint it. And so that's all the client experiences, I think, are rewarding and for me.
I think you hit a good point there. I got to witness this with one of my current buyers, where for the longest time they were scared of doing the home thing, and what they found was they got a wonderful place, considerably nicer than where they were renting, for less money than what they were paying in rent, which is fantastic.
Yeah, no, I think that kind of go back to one of your other questions. That's a big misconception, is that you need 20% down to buy a house and you need a ton of money to do it. There's a lot of programs out there where you can get into buying a house for probably the same as what it's going to rent, because when you're renting, a lot of them want first and last month's rent and a security deposit. And if you take that same money, I mean, that's a down payment for a lot of homes. So, and most times your mortgage payments can be cheaper than the rent you're paying. And you're paying somebody's mortgage one way or the other. So you're either paying your landlord's rent mortgage, or you're paying your mortgage.
Absolutely. Agreed. So last question, how is this current COVID-19 situation affecting mortgages in general?
Oh, man, it's been nuts. This is unprecedented.
Yeah.
I've never seen anything like, especially working in the financial markets. I've never seen anything like this before. It's affected us in a lot of ways. One, initially, interest rates are super low right now. They're changing multiple times throughout the day. Sometimes I'm quoting people like 3%, and then 2 hours later it's 3.5%, and then the next day it's 4.5%. So it's kind of all over the place right now. But that was the initial impact, was interest rates. But now we're starting to see a lot of struggle with liquidity. Because the way that a mortgage works is, Movement Mortgage, for instance, we do $1 billion of loans a month, and we package those together and we sell them on a secondary market so we can make more loans. If we had to keep all those loans and wait 30 years for everybody to make their payments, we wouldn't have enough money to keep loaning out. So the problem right now with COVID is everyone's scared. There's so much uncertainty. Nobody knows what's going on. So on the secondary market, the people that we normally sell these packages of mortgages to aren't buying anymore, or they're hesitant to buy. So that's kind of changed a lot. So it's like an ever evolving kind of scenario, because it's so unknown and so uncertain. But I think it's a good thing, because I think a lot of companies are kind of really seeing their true selves, or, issues that they had, or problems that they had, or can you work from home? Our entire company's been work from home since maybe 2 weeks ago. And our ops staff is in Virginia Beach and Charlotte, North Carolina. So those states aren't even shut down, but the company saw this kind of coming. So I think it's changed a lot, and it's going to be interesting to see how it all shakes out in the end.
Right.
But I think it's a learning experience for a lot of people on what could go wrong and what could happen.
Surely. Well, I think one of the things that we can take from it is if someone's been thinking about doing something real estate related, there's certainly time now to get the process started. Whereas a lot of other times, someone finds a home and then chases the process afterwards.
Mm.
They could maybe start that process a little bit earlier with the mortgage side. And also, if they were thinking of listing a home, now's the time where us as agents can really dig in on what the valuation is and make sure things are ready to rock and roll for when we come out of this mess.
Yeah, no, and I think the housing is going to lead us out of this mess. Still a great time to list, great time to buy. If you're looking to buy a house in the next year, this is the time to start the process. Because if there is something that's weird or something that's unknown, you can find it now. You can come up with a game plan. You can at least figure it out. There's no cost, there's no harm, there's no foul in you filling out an application for a mortgage guy like myself to kind of take a look at your financial picture and kind of guide you on where you want to be. And you can come up, if you're going to be buying in a year, you can build a game plan. I can say, this is when we're looking, this is what we need to do to get to where we want to go.
Yes, agreed. Well, I really appreciate you spending some time with me. I'm Jim Crawford with Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate. I've got Ryan Richardson with Movement Mortgage. I'll have all the links posted as usual. If either one of us can help you with anything, we would be glad to do so. Thanks so much, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, thanks for social distancing this.
Absolutely. Was this far enough, do you think?
I think we're safe.
I think we met the criteria. Thanks, Ryan. Talk to you later.
All right, thanks, Jim.